Let's go ahead and graph this ellipse. The first thing you want to do when you graph an ellipse is make sure you have it in standard form. So let's recall standard form. It's actually the quantity x minus h squared all over, it's either a squared or b squared. Usually in many textbooks, the a squared is usually larger than the b squared. So in this case, the 9 is going to be larger than the 4, so the a squared is actually going to be underneath the x minus h squared. Plus y minus k, the quantity y minus k squared, all over b squared is equal to 1. So we do have this in standard form. So why don't we locate the center of this ellipse? So the center, of course, is the parenthesis hk. And in our example, h is going to be -4, and our y is going to be -2. I'm sorry, our k is going to be -2. So our center is going to be located in the third quadrant. The other thing you want to do is we want to figure out what the a value is. So notice a squared is equal to 9, and to solve for a squared, we simply are going to take the square root of both sides of that equation, and then we get the absolute value of a is equal to 3. That means a could equal plus or minus 3. However, in our standard form, I forgot to mention, a is greater than 0 and b is greater than 0. So if a is plus or minus 3, then a has to be greater than 0. We will see that a has to be 3. In a very similar fashion, you could see that b is actually going to be 2. So now that we have the center and we have a and b, we're ready to graph our ellipse. So why don't we draw some axes? Now it looks like our center is going to be in quadrant 3. So obviously if you have your own graph paper, you'd be a lot neater. So I am going to draw my axes more suitable for an ellipse that's centered in quadrant 3. Let's put our arrows in. And let's put some labels in here. Our center is -4. And we want to go -2. Usually I mark the center with a star or an asterisk. Now just to remind you that the ellipse is actually, the center is really not on the ellipse. It is more of like a GPS location. It just kind of gives you the location of that ellipse. So we start with the center, -4, -2. Now what you want to do is travel 3 units to the right of that center and draw an ordered pair. Similarly, we want to draw 3 units to the left of that center and draw an ordered pair. And in this case, those are actually the vertices of the major axis. The major axis is the longer length inside the ellipse. Okay, in this case, it's along the x direction. Let's try to find the endpoints of our minor axis. So in this case, it's related to the number b. We want to draw 2 units above that center, and then draw a point 2 units above the center, and then draw another point 2 units below the center. So we're going to do this, and then we draw another point here. Obviously, if you have your own graph paper, you will be much neater. Then you draw your oval. Okay. Sort of, if you guys watch Family Guy, this one looks more like Stewie's head. If you don't watch Family Guy, this kind of looks like a football. Okay. So, let's see here. Why don't we give this some labels? Let's talk about the vertices. The vertices are, in this case, let's see here, -7, -2, and what else? Let's see, -1, -2. And remember, the vertices are on the major axis. How about the endpoints on the minor axis? The endpoints are, we have, looks like -4, -4. Because I'm reading bottom to top. And so the next one's going to be -4, 0. And so there you go. That's how you graph an ellipse that's given in its standard form. Okay? Pretty cool stuff.